Hey friends, it's Monday. I have been investing using my coupons and stuff on makeup. So I got some new lip going on. I like horror color red lipstick. After ASAP Rocky said that dark skinned girls shouldn't wear red lipstick, I identify as dark skinned. Um, I buy red lipsticks. I used to buy purples and stuff because my lips are dark, like naturally dark. It's funny because when the EMS came for me a couple weeks ago, they asked my husband, "Is her lips normally that color? Are her lips normally that color?" And he was like, "Dark, yeah, because that's a sign of something." But I've always had dark lips. I remember my mom getting a call or a mention from the teacher. I think I was in second or third grade, how I was wearing lipstick because my mom had gave me cherry chapstick. If you don't know, cherry chapstick is the truth. Um, and how I was wearing lipstick in class, and it was like, no, it's just cherry chapstick, which has a light tinge to it, like light tinge. But my lips has always been dark. And it's funny because I really think, like in the height of the "don't say no to drugs" era, I look like a habitual weed smoker, and I would, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think that was a lot of times I was passed over for like remedial jobs because I look like a weed smoker. And honestly, when I started wearing lipstick on job interviews, I would get every interview I went on, I would get the job. So I remember getting an impromptu for the job I have now. I got a call saying, "Well, can you come in today for an interview?" And I was at work. And I was like, "Yes, I could come on my lunch break, right? I could come on my lunch break." And I stopped I don't wear makeup every day at the time. I wasn't wearing makeup every day. I stopped at the CVS and grabbed lipstick and an eye kit and put it on in the car. Um, and I picked a bright orange lipstick to try to hide this thing. And I went on an interview in bright orange lipstick and I got the job. So whatever. I started doing a lot more lip. This is supposed to be 24-hour stay. You put the first one on and you put the second one on. It's supposed to stay. It's originally $15, but with all my CVS monies and coupons, I got it for $4.50. Why not? I still have not bust open that eye kit from Badass Beauties yet, only because the station where I have my makeup, I really don't have a place to store it and store the brushes out in the open. I do have a very big vanity that I should use, but it is holding clothes that were worn one time, not really dirty, don't need to be washed. Don't judge me. Y'all all have that. I wore something for a few hours. I didn't get dirty, but I don't want to put it back in the drawers and in the closet. I throw it right back on there. Judge me. Don't judge me. Judge your mama. We all have it. You ain't fooling nobody. Okay. And so anyway, I need to clean that off, and then I can have a nice like station with all my brushes out and yada yada yada, because it came with a very nice brush kit and real utensils. Like right now I have one makeup brush that I use between all the eyes, and then Q-tips, because I'm not that makeup girl or whatever. I did get combat edges, which I used on my kids and myself today. My son does not like to sleep with a hairnet on, and he slept without it, and where I put the combat gel was still laid. Yeah, he fights me. Like we fight. He does not want to wear a bonnet, a hairnet, nothing. I do their hair every Sunday, and it should last. It was supposed to last a week, but he has like very European hair. It's not quite dog hair or dead hair, but it is curly, very soft curls. Definitely not curly like my daughter's. So a braid on my daughter won't start to pull out. A braid on my son, the wispiness of the hair will start to come out from the braid if I don't use hard products like a hard gel or anything. But I digress. Happy Monday, y'all. Saturday was family day at my son's job. It is really bittersweet because they sold the compound. Now he's only been working there a month. They sold the compound, so this is probably going to be the last one because they don't have a place to have it, they'll probably be all spread out. And where they moved to in Brooklyn, they are in downtown Brooklyn, like Geralman Street. Like there's no place to have this big to do family day. They had petting zoo and riding the animals. They had food trucks, ice cream trucks, people walking on stilts, bouncy houses, a DJ, henna. I got my henna. That's an Om symbol. I got my henna. Face painting. Face painting line was so long because they were doing like 10 minutes a kid, and there was only two of them. Like these were elaborate shit things that they were doing on these kids' faces. So we didn't get to do that because I think we stayed in line. Between my husband stayed a half an hour, I stayed about 20 minutes. It didn't move because people were holding places for kids. Like a dad was standing there and then four kids would come up. Isn't this cute? Now it is very choppy because I was super ashy and sunburned by the time I got to her, but it's supposed to be this way. Y'all see it? It's reversed because of the camera. But my kids got temporary tattoos. My mama came out with me. So I, very self-conscious about my arms, was self-conscious about my arms before the weight loss. Very self-conscious about my arms. Like I said, I cannot be embarrassed, but I do know a flaw and something I could be uncomfortable with. Not saying that, like, it's two different things. Not being able to be embarrassed and not being comfortable with something is two different things. But anyway, I usually cover up my arms. I had on a tank top and it was hot. It was hot because I had on a body shape and I'm wearing a wig. So all the rubber body shape are keeping the heat in. The wig is like a hat. I was hot. And I was like, I'm not wearing this jacket. I took the jacket off and just let the arms was out, baby. The arms was out and I didn't give two fucks. And when I say uncomfortable, let me elaborate. I'm not uncomfortable by the way they look. They literally feel uncomfortable. And I wear a shirt or a dress with a sleeve to hold them in. The skin, the amount of skin, and I have muscle, so it's not like I could just do triceps and stuff. When I saw the surgeon, there's no amount of working out that I could do for this these arms. It's skin. It's skin. So I've been working on my arms and I got like pretty, like, I don't know if you can see it, but I have pretty big muscles underneath here. I've always had big arms, but it literally, the weight of it is uncomfortable and it pulls. And I started getting stretch marks. And I don't know if that's from the muscles. I'm going to say it is because I'm a meathead now, but no. My little 5 pound, 10, 20 pound weights. It's literally feels uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable as far as looks. It's uncomfortable as far as it's gravity. It feels uncomfortable. So, that's what I meant. But I had the arms out, and if I kept them like this and leaning them on the armrest, it was fine. Kids had fun. My husband was still on the clock, so he was like working and running back to the field and hanging out with us. And it was cute. It was cute. And Sunday was a nothing day. The air quality went back to being in the yellow, and I kept everybody inside with the air cleaner on. I was going to do something with them, but we even in the house was coughing a little bit. It was green Saturday. Oh my God. It felt so good to sit outside. It smelled clean. It was nice. It was beautiful on Saturday. Sunday, we were coughing a little bit. So we just stayed in the house and did our Sunday, whatever that we do to prep for the week. And that was it. How was you guys this weekend? I don't know if anything really happened as far as entertainment or something to talk about, except for the Florida governor is 99.9% probably. Oh, no, he put his hat in, right? He changed because Florida governors are not allowed to run for president. So I think they changed that law. They're going to change that law. I don't know. I'm so full of information, guys. I don't know. I'm blending things. But anyway, that's the only thing I heard was Pence was going to run, and then DeSantis is up next. He's going to do whatever to change the law so he can run for president. That's the only thing. Oh, Trump got indicted again, I think. But to me, that doesn't mean anything because, it's kind of backwards. But If you're a felon, you can't vote, but if you're a felon, you could still run for president. And if you're in jail, you could still run for president. And you could Google that shit, because we did have somebody in the early days of the Americas in jail running for president. Not saying he won, but he could run for president even in jail. And then when he becomes president, he just pardons himself. I'm guessing that's how it works. I think they're really, really, really trying to find something to stick to keep him from running for president again. But another indictment, another impeachment, whatever. Does it equal jail time? I am a realist. I don't think he's going to serve any jail time. I think this is just all to keep him from running again. And every time he gets like an indictment or whatever, a charge, his popularity gains. He gets more points. And I think because white supremacy demands undevoted following. Like you have to be 100% loyal regardless of anything. And I think that's what's keeping him aligned and popular. Unwavering. That's the word I'm looking for. White supremacy demands unwavering loyalty and support. And I think that's why he is gaining points every time something like this happens. Doesn't matter what he did. It's white supremacy at its finest. Do I think he's going to win? No, because as much as I don't like him, I feel like, and I don't like him because what he does affects people of color. But as far as intellect and diabolicalness and evil villainness, DeSantis is that dude. He's smart. He's Ivy League educated. He's very calculated, and he's loved. He is loved, and not because of white supremacy. He is loved by Republicans, Black Republicans, white Republicans. Because there's something about him that I don't feel is authentic, because I think he is that smart, that intelligent, and I think there's a part of me that believes he's playing the long game. I don't know. I could be wrong. This is just how I am. But I don't want to toot my own horn. I'm never wrong when it comes to things like this. Never, ever wrong. And I think he's playing the long game, and he's going to do a complete 180 when he does become president, because I think if he does run, he's going to win. He is going to win. He's going to win. Biden doesn't stand a chance against DeSantis. Even the people in the blue states who are Democrats are pretty much turned off by Biden, that they will give DeSantis a chance. I do believe that. What else? Oh, and why I don't think I'm wrong as far as like these conspiracy theorists and long game, because I think like them. I think like them because I'm a selfish, big, fat, juicy, atheist feminist. I'm very calculated. Like I said before, my brain is like a computer. What is the best outcome for this? What is the best outcome for that? So like the whole thing with the new migrants, right? The Texas shipping all these migrants to these northern states. Everybody is like, oh, Cruz is being an asshole. He's shipping all these migrants up here and letting it be a burden on the asylum states, because New York is an asylum state, right? Is an asylum like we just take you in. And my mother was like, why isn't Biden administration doing something about this? And And I said, because they want them here. And she was like, no, it's a burden on the economy. Why do they want them here? And I said, Ma, hear me out. The wave of immigrants that were here, right? 30 years ago, the wave of immigrants that came, they have done the grunt work, done this, educated their children. Their children are now college graduates with master's degrees. They're your principals. They're your teachers. They're your politicians. Those people now have elevated, and they are not doing grunt work anymore. They have taken advantage of everything America has to offer as far as education and the American dream and the land of milk and honey, baby. They have done that. They are not doing that shit anymore. And you know how I know they're not doing that shit anymore? I grabbed a bag of grapes and I saw a meme like this. I grabbed a bag of grapes, y'all, and it said $4.99. I thought the bag of grapes was $4.99. Oh no, it was $4.99 a pound. That bag of grapes was £4 and some change. I spent about $22 on a bag of grapes, and this ain't no BJ's size bag of grapes. It wasn't organic. It was a regular schmegler degular public school bag of grapes. $21. I was already in self-checkout. I didn't want to bother anybody to refund. I kept it. Told my mother this. She said, no, something was wrong. I said, no, mommy. That is how much it costs when you have documented people that have to get paid, that have to sometimes get prevailing wage. Depends on what state you're in. In the absence of unions to protect workers, you have to pay them a prevailing wage, which is like a minimum. And I think in my county for a plumber, it's like $21 an hour for a master plumber. That's the minimum you have to pay them if they are not union. So farm workers, this is what happens when you have to pay workers' compensation, taxes, employee tax, employer tax, all of this stuff. When you have to pay real wages and not I'm a new immigrant, migrant wages, your bag of grapes is $20. That is what happens. I said, mommy, they want them here. Do we forget that the American economy's foundation is slave labor? The blueprint of the American economy and why we became one of the strongest economic country in the world is because our foundation is based on free labor. You think that changed? When we couldn't have slaves anymore, what did we change to? Child, immigrants and children, the Irish, the Italians. And when the Irish became police officers and the Italians learned trades and opened restaurants, then it was the Chinese, right? Then the Chinese came and we did slave labor on the Chinese. Excuse me, having them build the railroads and shit. And when that didn't work anymore, then we went to closing the factories and buying everything. Now we wasn't a manufacturing country anymore, and we just bought it overseas because it was cheaper. And then when we got into the quadrillions and trillions of dollars in debt with China, then we tried to go back to manufacturing, but then things got expensive. And then we went back to the 90s or 80s, because that's all I can remember back was the new Caribbean people was here. The Haitians, the Jamaicans, they were doing the grunt work. The Jamaicans were getting 3-4 jobs, sending their kids to school. The Filipinos came, 3-4 jobs. They became your nurses. The Jamaicans became your nannies and your nurses. Canarsie, Brooklyn used to be all white. But these women came from the Caribbean. They became nurses and started buying up all the houses in Canarsie. Almost everybody in Canarsie's grandmother is a nurse. Prove me wrong. They got those houses because they were nurses. Right? So when that didn't work anymore, then it went back to the Mexicans. The Mexicans were coming here and they were doing your slave labors and they were working for pennies on the dollar. But then they had children here and their children are American citizens and they sent them to the public schools. And then there were so many of them that these jobs were looking for educated Spanish speakers. So then they became, like I said, your principals, your social workers, your politicians, and they voted for their interests. And I will say this, and my mother says this, my husband did a disservice to our kids by not teaching them Spanish. That now it's my mother's, becomes my mother's now goal to use like apps and stuff to teach these kids Spanish, because almost every job is Spanish speaking. So my husband was telling me a story about a child speaking in Spanish and all these people in the room. And I said, oh, did y'all need a translator? He said, no, everybody spoke Spanish. He spoke Spanish, the child spoke Spanish, his supervisor spoke Spanish, the supervisor spoke Spanish. Everybody spoke Spanish. He said almost everybody on campus speaks Spanish. So those are the supervisors. The supervisors are the Spanish speakers. You know who don't speak Spanish? The direct care workers, the hourly workers. They don't speak Spanish. All of the top salary executive jobs are going to Spanish speakers. When my job was looking for a principal, guess what they got? A Spanish speaking, white presenting, Spanish speaking principal, because my district now is getting a bunch of new migrant children. And you have to educate them. You have to have your English second language program intact, fully ready to go by law. Who do you think voted that in? Who do you think advocated and lobbied in? The second generations that came here. So like I told my mother, going back to the story, I said they want them here. The farmers alone, one Billy Bob farmer hasn't done physical labor in 25 years because he would hire migrants. And now his ass is too fat to actually do the work. So now he cannot sustain the prices because now he has to hire real people. I'm going to say real people. He has to hire real people and pay them minimum wage. And might even be more, because ain't nobody picking no fucking grapes and being out in the field for minimum wage. So let's say he's paying them $12, $13 an hour. And that's why my grapes are $20 an hour when they could pay them $2 an hour, $3 an hour, $5 an hour. Ooh, Jesus. You not looking at me or nothing. Yeah, you not directed traffic or nothing. Fucking ass. So he what was I saying? The fucking cop not directed traffic. We almost hit each other. I forgot we doing the damn fucking car parade again. Now I gotta smile and look happy to these fucking privileged kids. So what was I saying? I forgot. Anywho, we want them here. Oh. And I told my mother we want them here. She said, no. And I said, Ma, they want them here. They want them to work. And I don't know if I brought this up in my other video that New York is trying to get these people that come off of these buses, giving them temporary work visas as soon as they come off the bus. You think the Texas governor is busing them on purpose or they're requested? All that busing them to Kamala Harris' house, that's a distraction. They want them here. We need a new flux of cheap labor to balance out our economy. You heard it here first.